everyone, and welcome to a brand new channel. We have our own dedicated Top Drives channel, so welcome. Since this is our first video here, you are going to want to go ahead and subscribe because we're going to be sticking around here, and you should too. This time around on the Top Drive show, we're doing our regular Q&A. Let's get started. I am Josie. I am an analyst here at Hutch.
I'm Tim. I'm in charge of analytics and marketing at Hutch.
And I am Jonathan, and I am design director here at Hutch.
If you've got a question for us about Top Drives, go ahead and leave it in the comments below. If you see a question someone else has left that you like the look of, make sure to give it a like because we look at the most liked comments first. We are going to go and look at our 5 favorite questions from our previous Q&A, which in the weird situation of things is actually on our previous channel. But from now on, we're going to be right here. So leave your questions on this video and we're going to go through from the previous. Our first question, winning a carbon fiber pack, congratulations. That Porsche guy, whose question is, could you add a way for us to reduce trophy count? Right now, I'm at 18K and battling people with over 50K trophies. That makes it pretty much impossible to win any event unless I late join, which is obviously not fun. I could battle against people of similar garage strengths, then that would be way more fun for everyone. So trophies going down.
Well, right. Basically, we tried that, right? And it was just silly. It's just silly. It's like, do you want to have some easy matches and beat people who you really shouldn't be playing? Well, just lose loads of trophies and then you can. So you could just win whenever you wanted. And of course, you know, you're happy, right? Because like, oh, great, I can beat these guys. They're not happy though, are they? They're like, who's this guy coming and beating me? Why don't they have 18,000 trophies? They should do. So we don't do that anymore. But obviously, the challenge in any matchmaking situation is the top bracket. Once you get there, it's like, well, this is it. This is everybody who's left. And you're like, I've got 18,000. Why am I facing somebody with 50,000, 100,000 trophies? The problem is that's all of them. That's the top percent. I thought of this good way of looking at it though, right? When you start with hardly any trophies and you're working your way up to the first band, we move the bands around as well, so you're not always in the worst position, right? You're basically, over time, you're getting better, your garage is getting better, you're getting more competitive in that bracket, and then you're in the new bracket, oh no, you're the worst. Except we move it around, so it's not a complete cut-off. Anyway, and you're like, okay, I'm working my way up, I'm getting better, and then eventually in the new bracket, and you're the worst, right? Eventually you get to the top bracket, and you've got to try and work your way up that. And that's really hard because that's the people who've been playing for the longest and, you know, spent the most and just done the most. And so you've got a really steep curve. Here's the interesting thing though, the bigger that top bracket is, the softer that curve is, right?
I feel like you need a whiteboard.
I do need a whiteboard, but like if we just cut off, it's like, all right, and here's just the people who've got like 40,000 and above. Once you get to that bracket, you're just absolute toast. You're just doomed. And you can basically just like, how am I ever going to improve in this bracket? It's a real struggle. So actually, better off with a bigger top bracket because at least you can progress over time in a more meaningful way. It's harsh, but...
Yeah, it is just one of those situations. I mean, it's probably worth saying that obviously, like you say, the bands can move and it is something that gets looked at constantly in terms of the number of players, kind of the population of each band and things like that. So it's fluid to a certain degree, but as you say, there's almost always going to be, wherever the line gets drawn, there's almost always going to be some issues. But hopefully, players can play their way through them.
And the biggest prize cards events are always open, so it's just you versus the world in every case, and those are the most important ones.
The next winning question, getting a carbon fiber pack, is from Plant, who asks, could you reintroduce the feature where you complete a whole set of manufacturer cars and you get a car as a reward? The game is originally CCCG, which would stand for Car Card Collection Game. I would imagine that's a good guess. And what's the point of collecting cars if there's no reward? So we've had questions about this before, just getting these rewards for completing sets in this sort of like diorama magazine style that people think about when you collect the stickers.
It's an excellent point, and I think we probably we have discussed it in various forms over some of the previous shows, and it's, I mean, that in a way the answer is and this sounds like a bit of an excuse, but I think everybody on the team, we all agree that collection, well, it is part of the game and it should be a bigger part of the game. We should definitely make more of it. I think there's a few ideas. I know I've got some sort of thoughts that I've kind of sort of sketched up and things like that. I think there's sort of several ideas of how collection can be a bigger thing. Probably the slight issue is that they're not huge features, but they are sort of significant size in terms of, if we want to do it, we want to make sure that we're doing it properly, because as people say, it's a collection game and we should make a big deal of that. So that means the ideas then become kind of not insignificantly sized features, and that just then we just run into this sort of slightly boring from a player point of view, but the kind of development priorities and actually where they fit in that and when we can actually get to them, and it just means that we haven't got to them yet. But the sort of desire to get to them is there.
Yeah, and we've done, like the Austin challenge. You collected all the Austins, you could get the Moby Dick. That's a sort of way around
there's
it.
Ways that we can bring in that idea, because it is fun. I mean, it's really satisfying, sort of building up a sort of a manageable collection. Obviously, there's a lot of cars in Top Drives now, and actually, in a way, the manufacturers are actually moving. The more cars we add into the game and the more updates we do, it's actually moving away from the idea that you collect all of one manufacturer and get a prize car, because it's just simply not manageable anymore with some of the numbers that we're talking about. And then the manufacturers that have smaller numbers are generally the higher end stuff, which makes it even harder to collect. But I would, I think there's some really interesting ideas for what we can do with collection, and I'm hoping that we can act on them sooner rather than later.
The next question comes from Vincent Top Drives, getting a carbon fiber pack for asking how many people work on Top Drives. So knowing that we probably didn't have the exact number to hand, you might be able to fetch it. But in the development Slack channel for Top Drives, there are 53 names, which and that's not to say that doesn't mean all of them are working on Top Drives right now, but it means that probably around 50 people have at some point touched
some of those are cross-project people who are on everything.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing with the way the channels work. So if anybody who's got an interest in within the company in Top Drives would join that channel.
Right.
We in a way, it sounds a bit bad. We don't have an exact number to hand.
Yeah, well, there's lots of things. It depends who it count. I don't count. Technically, I'm not on it.
Yeah.
I just play it the most, and I oversee a bunch of people who are on it. And
yes, I think
so
my
more than
estimate
10.
Yeah, my estimate would be 15 people.
Yeah, something like
actively working on Top Drives.
Yeah,
that might be a tiny bit off, but it's around that number.
Yeah.
I think they sort of 15 to 20 people.
Yeah,
is where I would.
Designers, client coders, server coders, artists, UI artists, analysts, QA. Did I say QA? It's very important.
Yep.
Product owner. There's a lot of disciplines going on.
Yeah.
So, good question.
Next question winning a carbon fiber pack comes from Pomat794, who asks, hello, can we get add garage and lock button? It's annoying to find and lock every useful car manually. So this is when you pick up a car for the first time.
You've just got it in your holding pool and you're like, I really want this one. And you go add, and then you're like, right, I've just got to sort through my 500 cars.
Yeah.
What was it? It was a rare Lotus, and where was it? It's gone wrong. It's that one. I know I lock it. I see what you mean. Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, I guess especially at the beginning of the game, because this is one of the problems we have. We're so used to the end game. Beginning of the game, loads of the cars you get are useful. And now for me, like maybe one every 3 or 4 days is useful, and I know exactly which one it is and what to do with it. When there's loads, that's probably going to be a bit more of a hassle. So that is reasonable. And you also want to be able to lock it from any screen as well, right? Because there's that thing where you're in an event and you go, oh, this car would be useful actually, and you bring it in and you go, I should lock this, and you're like, oh, I have to go out and get it.
Yep.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
More ability to lock.
That should go
Good idea.
on a list.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I'll put it on the quality of life list.
Do it right now. Okay, then our final carbon fiber question comes from Redline Top Drives, who asks, I heard that you guys are considering increasing the RQ range at some point. What are you thinking of doing? I think having an RQ range of 5 for each rarity would be interesting. And they also note, I feel really sorry for whoever has to go through those cars.
Yeah, well, we're looking at ways of doing it. We could just double the range, or we could stretch it out a long way and go, actually, let's have loads more nuance.
Wow.
That will be quite interesting. I don't know. We're weighing up the different options.
Yeah, there's definitely no. I think we can definitely say that there is no solution yet for that. I think still just being talked about, and just see kind of potential knock-on effects and things like that. But yeah, definitely sort of different ways we could approach it.
Yeah, it's not determined yet.
Okay. All right, so that is it for the Top Drives Top 5 questions this time round. So once again, thank you to That Porsche Guy, Plant, Vincent Top Drives, Pomat794 and Redline Top Drives for your questions. You all get carbon fiber packs, so go ahead and message us in the usual ways. Make sure to leave your questions down below if you have anything to ask us, and go ahead to our social channels because we are talking about Top Drives not just every time we come and do this, but basically all the time. So yes, go ahead and subscribe to this brand new channel, and we will see you next time on the Top Drive Show. It's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from us.